Hey folks, welcome back to your week 18, the final week of the NFL season here in 2024. Happy New Year, everyone. We have a full slate of games this weekend, two of them on Saturday and the rest of them on Sunday. So we went 12-4 last week. We're at 64.06% for the season. So not going to get up over that 70% mark that I really wanted to, but so I'll take 2 out of 3. 2 out of 3 ain't bad, like a famous musician once said. So let's just jump right into it. We've got Pittsburgh at Baltimore. Now, Baltimore's not playing a lot of their starters, including Lamar Jackson. So in this one, Pittsburgh's actually favored by 4. The over-under in this one, 35.5, which is not surprising for an NFC North battle, especially where the starters for the home team are not playing. So I'm going to take Pittsburgh in this one. I think Pittsburgh will prevail. They need to secure a wild card spot in order to make the season a success for Mike Tomlin and crew. So I'm going to take Pittsburgh in this one. And then Houston at Indy is the nightcap for Saturday night. We have an 1.5-point favorite is Houston at Indy. I think this is going to be an upset. I think Indy's going to upset Houston at home. I'm surprised that Houston's actually favored in this one. Over under 47.5. If Houston still had Tank Dell, I would take Houston in this one, but they don't, and I'm going to take Indy in this one. And I think that Indy will prevail. Pittsburgh and Indy will both pick up the wild card spots. I'm hoping. And then Sunday's games, the early games, we got 6 of them. We got Cleveland at Cincinnati. Cleveland is a 7-point underdog at the Kittens of Cincinnati. Over under in this one is 37.5. Very low scoring game. They're predicting there's for quite a few of them actually this weekend, because either you're playing for something or you're not, and these guys really aren't playing for anything. Cleveland is locked into the number 5 seed, and Cincinnati is out of the picture altogether. So I'm going to go ahead and take Cincy at home. I think Cincy will prevail at home. I don't think Cleveland's going to be really into it, considering that they're locked into the 5th seed, and there's really not a whole lot for them to play for. So I'm going to take Cincy at home. And then we have Minnesota at Detroit. Not a whole lot to play for here. Just kidding. Detroit could get the number 2 seed if Dallas and Philadelphia both lose, but I don't see that being likely. Minnesota has a lot on the line here. They're 7-9, and they need a whole bunch of other things to happen in order for them to make the playoffs. Over under in this one is 45.5. Detroit is favored by 3.5 in this one. I'm going to take Detroit. I see no reason that Detroit should stumble against the Vikings at home here. And then we have Jacksonville, the Kittens of Jacksonville at Tennessee to face off against the Titans. Jacksonville needs to win in order to win the AFC South, and they are 3.5-point favorites on the road in Tennessee. Over under in this one of 41.5. I'm going to take Jacksonville. I'm going to take the Kittens. I think Trevor Lawrence will play, and I think that they'll be able to prevail nicely over Tennessee in Nashville. And you have the fast airplanes in New York flying into New England to face off against the Patriots at Foxborough at Gillette Stadium. The Patriots are 2-point favorites in this one. Over under of 30.5. This is very, very low. They're really expecting a very low scoring game, something like 16-14 on the order of. So I'm going to take the home team here. I think they're going to be playing for pride, and New York doesn't really have a quarterback, until Aaron Rodgers comes back. So I don't think that they're going to be really excited about playing for anything. I think New England will prevail nicely in this one. And then we have Atlanta flying into New Orleans to take on the Saints. Atlanta is a 3-point underdog in this one. Over under 42.5. Atlanta needs to win and hope some other things happen in order for them to win the NFC South. I don't see that happening. Atlanta's a terrible road team, certainly in the last couple of years. I think the Saints will prevail in this one. Over-under is 42.5. I just said that. And the Saints are favored by 3. So I think the Saints will prevail nicely in this one. Saints need a lot of other things for them to happen for them in order to get into the playoffs too. And then you have Tampa Bay at Carolina. I see no reason Tampa Bay is going to lose at Carolina. They're 4.5-point favorites. Over under this one is 37.5. Tampa Bay wins. They win the NFC South championship. So I think that Tampa Bay will do just fine. And then you have Chicago. The Bears of Chicago in the late games kicking off against the GBs of Green Bay. Green Bay's favored by 3 in this one. Over under 45.5. I think Green Bay will be able to play. They're playing for something here. Chicago's already eliminated. I think Green Bay will be able to prevail and just watch the TV and hope that other things fall in their favor. We got 7 games lined up here in the late session for Sunday's games. Denver at Las Vegas, rather. Vegas is a 3-point favorite in this one. Line is 37.5 for the over/under. I like Vegas in this one. I don't see any reason that they should relinquish control of their hold over the Broncos. Certainly at home, even though they're playing for pride, they're going to play for Antonio Pierce and hopefully play for his job and have him keep his job. So I'm going to take Vegas in this one. Then you have Philadelphia flying across the state into New York, actually New Jersey, to take on the Giants, the Biggies of New York. Eagles are 5-point favorites in this one. They still have to play for a little something because they want to try and hope that Dallas loses and they can get a hold of that second seed and that first round home playoff game. 42.5 is the over-under in this one. I like Philly in this. I think Philly's going to be able to prevail. I don't see any reason the Giants should put up much of a fight in this one. Then you have the Battle of the Birds in the NFC West. You got the Seattle Seahawks flying into Arizona. Seahawks are 2.5-point favorites in this one, and they should be. I think that Seattle will prevail. Arizona's always played them tough, but I think Seattle will be able to pull this one off. Over under 47.5, so they're expecting a little bit of scoring, but Seattle definitely has a lot to play for. They need to win, and they have to hope for a lot of other things to happen in order for them to get into the playoffs. And then you have the Chiefs of Kansas City. They are 3.5-point underdogs at the Chargers of Los Angeles, and that's because Patrick Mahomes and some other guys are not going to play for KC because they don't really have anything to play for. They're locked in at the number 3 seed. So over-under in this one is 35.5, very uncharacteristic for a Mahomes-led team, but of course he's not leading. So I'm going to take the Chargers in this one. I don't think that there's any reason to believe that the Chargers, that the Chiefs will try and put up much of a fight against the Chargers here. I'm going to go with the home team on this one. And then you have the Rams of LA flying into San Fran. They've already said Brock Purdy's not going to play. They've locked into the number 1 seed. There's no reason for them to put their starters out there. And still San Fran's a 4-point favorite. Both teams are already in the playoffs. Over-under in this one is 40.5. I like San Fran at home. Whether it's a 4-point win, that's a stretch considering who San Fran's going to put out on the field. But I do like San Fran at home. I'm going to take San Fran. And then you have Dallas at Washington. Dallas is a 13-point favorite on the road at Washington. Over-under in this one, a 46.5. I like Dallas on the road. 13 is a very fat line for any team on the road, but I do like Dallas in this one. I think Dallas will prevail nicely. And then Monday night brings us the battle of the AFC East. The Buffalo Bills facing off against the Miami Dolphins in Miami. Over-under in this one is 48.5. And the line, Buffalo is favored by 3. And I get it. Buffalo is the hot team here coming in on the heater, having won 4 straight after being 6-6. And I think Miami will be able to prevail in this one. I'm going to go with Miami. I think that they'll win the AFC East and the number 2 seed throughout the playoffs, and I think Miami will be able to pull this one off. Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill are both no-shows today at practice here on Thursday. I think Tyreek will definitely play, but Jalen Waddle still is a question mark. We'll see you on the other side, everyone. We'll hopefully be up to around that 2 out of 3 mark, 66%. Have a great weekend, everyone.